Shout out Q. Shout out Q. Shout out Q. Shout out Q.
Carson, Chinn joining me now after the first half of Clarke County Eagles practice. Looked like an intense practice. Looks like a lot of energy out there. Just how you feeling being back out there, getting ready for your senior year of high school football?
Yeah, man. We've definitely got it rolling on the ball this year. We've got a lot of young guys, still talented group. High responsibility between guys like me and Tanner and Palmer and Wilson Taylor. We got a lot of shoes to fill this year between the seniors that we lost last year. The thing that we like to get out in here, initially in between the lines to these young guys is we want to get into integrated and like we're a winning program. We take that step during conditioning. We take that step during every single rep that we have, even in like mental reps. Even if we're not in full pads, repping things out and hitting and beating and banging and things like that, we still want to go, 1,000 miles an hour to learn that, we know where we're going in game. Especially in, high leverage situations like that when we can't really think too much for so long on the line. We installed, some pretty interesting points like a mix and match birdcage type of thing where we can move around on the line today. So we're actually integrating the mental part of it now. I think the young guys are starting to pick up on it, and they're starting to learn that, this is a real program that likes to compete every single year in and year out, no matter who the older guys are teaching these younger guys. So I think by the time that, even the freshmen and sophomores get to be these older guys, they'll get the hang of it and they'll start to show that, down the line, we'll keep it going with this winning program thing.
Covering Clarke for as long as I've been, I know that Coach Childs and staff always preaches going 100%. They're taking nothing less than 100%. Obviously, you had some seniors graduate, but you still, in turn, have a core group of guys there, I would imagine, big leaders on the team as well. How do you implement what you've been doing, obviously, in the younger kids coming in, sort of teaching them being a leader, but sort of a mentor, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I think it's a heavy emphasis on starting at, the younger age with these guys, especially, we try and get these guys straight out of Little League, 8th grade, 9th grade. We started sending coaches down to the Little League to integrate our system down there. So, the guys will already know it by the time they get here, and we can start, repping it out 100%, because that's what we need in game every single play. When it gets to the fourth quarter, we can't take 50% off. You're going to start to lose games in situations like that. So we need 100% every single play. You know what you're doing mentally. And it, like I said, it starts at the young age. We got a good luxury with that. We played with it in Little League, and then we got to, the 8th grade level. And we had great leaders before us, like Coach Childs, and then they were leading those senior guys to, help us out as well. So you watch the people that come before you, and that's where we're trying to, integrate now today with our guys on the line of scrimmage, on under the chute and things like that. Watch the people that come before you. You'll learn pretty quickly. Be a visual seer, and you'll be a great player eventually.
So with scrimmages coming up next week and just working with the team, how prepared do you think, how ready you are going into these scrimmages? Another learning experience, but just with another team. How do you think just going into camp this week, everything going on offensively, defensively, just collectively?
I think we're looking to be, a pretty dominant group all the way around the area. We want to be pretty noticed. We've got some high-level scrimmages this season against, bigger schools, especially like Dominion. We got to go over to Loudoun County and play against the James Wood School. That's, they're always in the Winchester Star for being a big team. So we want to be known for, being pretty dominant on both sides of the ball. We want to own the line of scrimmage. We want to tire those guys out by the fourth quarter, and it'll be game over by that point. So we like to, keep that high mental situation, be mean as you can in the fourth quarter. Those other guys won't be able to hang with us as much, especially, if we're getting off the line super quickly, going 100%, like I said, we'll know where we're going. And the whole game will just be about us, basically, is what we're trying to do. So be as dominant as we can.
Carson, Chinn, appreciate your time, sir. I'm sure this will probably not be the last time we speak.
Yes, sir.
Go get some lunch out there, and best of luck to you this season.
I appreciate you.
Tanner Sipe now joining me partway through Clarke County Eagles camp, the second week of camp around the high schools in the Virginia area. Tanner, how you feeling being out there back with the squad? It looks like an energetic bunch, as Carson said. Some younger guys, but still a core group of guys still around that know the system pretty well.
Yeah, it's really exciting to be back, obviously. Losing some of the senior guys is always sad and you miss them, but having new guys come in and you turn into the older guys that everyone looks up to. So that's just been really fun to kind of have people watch you, and you have to be the demonstrator, you have to be the teacher. And even though the coaches are here, they still rely on us a lot to teach everyone and make sure the little guys know like how to run the plays, how to act when we're conditioning, don't give up, don't quit, stuff like that.
So the big leadership aspect with the younger kids, it sounds like sort of a big responsibility, but you're sort of like they're coaching them and like being a leader too. What's that like, them just looking up to you for help when needed?
Yeah, so I mean, I know when I was little, when I was an 8th grader, freshman, I was always looking up at the seniors, watching them play. Like, man, like they're huge. Like, there's no way I'll ever be able to do that. But now that I'm actually doing it, it's just really cool to like look back and see all the JV kids watching us, and I can just tell like they're just amazed and not necessarily scared, but like excited to one day be able to be like us and play varsity football and yeah, just win like us.
Obviously, you play a big role in Clarke's offense for the most part. Stand out last year coming into this year. Just how are you feeling? I know scrimmages are coming up about a week away. Just how are you feeling in the offensive unit collectively, just going into those scrimmages? And I know the scrimmage is still a learning experience, but against another team.
Yeah, last season was super exciting. Our offense was crazy explosive. We had so much built momentum up each game. I felt like we kept getting better as a group. Definitely gonna keep riding on that this year through the scrimmages, just feeling it, getting back into it, playing against other teams. Just getting to not necessarily hit each other in practice, but actually getting on the field and feels like more of a game scenario and more serious, and it'll be really fun.
It felt like a pretty good practice out there today. Not that hot. You must have been blessed. It wasn't like blazing 100 degrees out here in the summer. Am I right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like days like those probably sort of cool down, instead of the blazing hot. You must love those.
Yeah, especially earlier in the week was pretty hot. The afternoon sessions were brutal, even though the conditioning wasn't as much. It was just really hot. We had to take off some pads, take off some layers. But yeah, cool morning this morning. We did really good, executed real well, got some offense and defense in, a little bit of conditioning. It was good practice.
Absolutely. Tanner, I'm sure this will not be the last time we speak. Thank you for your time and best of luck to you this season.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Now joining me, the Eagles head coach, Casey Childs, halfway through camp. Lunch break, and they have another session coming up later on. Coach, thanks for having us out here first and foremost, but how does it feel just getting back out there with your group of guys? A pretty good season last year, and just looking at this group, how does it feel?
No, it's always good to be football season. I think it's the start of another school year. It's always exciting times for everybody. And the excitement is always high in every school, and then football season adds that too. Great turnouts for the home games here. So yeah, anytime football season is going, it's a great time. We've got great kids, great coaches. So when we get this, get the band back together every year, it's always a great time.
I know it's still early with camp, but it seems like the team is practicing at a pretty high level. I know you preach you playing at a very high level, practicing at a very high level, but it just seems like they're clicking, gelling together rather quickly. Just your thoughts on that?
Well, we've got great kids. When you got great kids, you can do a lot of things, and we've been very fortunate for a long time to have a really good football program and win a lot of football games, and it's a trickle down effect of what the expectation is from old to young, and this group of seniors and juniors, they know what's expected for them, and they know the expectations, and ultimately they're high at Clarke County, and that's because of everybody who's done something in the past, and so no one shies away from it. The torch has been passed down for years and years and years, and this group of kids are doing a great job of sharing that excitement it is, and the senior classes, they've been around for a long time, obviously, and a lot of them have played for us since they were really young. So when you have that kind of leadership, it's no wonder why the excitement level is the way it is during practice.
So looking at guys on your team coming in last year, like Tanner and Carson, that core group of guys who know the system, and your younger kids who are coming in, just take me through your mind. What is it like to have them as leaders to help the young kids out? I know the coaching staff helps them out too, but still the players doing that as well. What does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, our skill kids have been around for a while. They've all been playing pretty much since they were sophomores on varsity, and of course they played as 8s and 9s at the JV level. But they have great leadership. They've been through a lot of big games and playoff games, and they've won a lot of football games at the varsity level. And, you know, and up front, you know, like you spoke of, but, you know, we return, there's no secret. We lost quite a few linemen last year from last year's team with Sipe coming back at guard and Carson at tight end. But we're really, really pleased of how this year's line is unfolding. And we're going to be pretty athletic up front. We won't play as big, but we're going to be explosive and pretty athletic. So we're excited because those were some things we were going into this camp that we just did not know what we'd have. But it also helps that you had those seniors in the back that have played. And some of those guys are moving, like Wilson Taylor's moving from blocking back to wing. And so it's a great mix of leadership with playing experience with some new guys that are coming in. So everything's kind of flowing well together right now. And you know, and this is the dog days of summer practice, and it really is. But as you were out here, the excitement level is great. And our coaches do a good job, too, of keeping their energy level up, which, you know, kids feed off of coaches. And our staff does a good job of keeping that going as well.
So you mentioned shifting some people in different positions. With your unique style in running the single wing, you don't have to go into too much detail, but how is it sort of evaluating where you can plug and play people in different positions with the offense you run in the single wing?
Well, there's characteristics and like qualities that you're looking for each position of our you know, from line, from left to right, and of course of all our skilled kids. But you know, we do a pretty good job every year when they're young, when they learn the single wing in the backfield, they have to know multiple positions. So it's usually interchangeable pieces that if they know one, they know another position and so forth. I mean, we could have probably come out here day one and run, but with the skill kids, probably run pretty much every play we have in the playbook, which is quite a few with all the different series that we run with the single wing. But when you be able to have those moving parts, you can do things with them. And then up front, there's just certain qualities. Like, you know, we moved Sipe from left guard to right guard, and there's just certain things that you're looking for, and you plug in place with what you need. And you know, the way that our offense runs is it's kind of like reading a book. Once you kind of understand the principles of it early on, it starts to flow together, even for the kids up front. So that's where we're at right now is that, you know, we're just constantly putting stuff in slowly but surely so that they understand that book as they go, and everybody's on the same sheet of music.
So collectively, as you're going through camp, just evaluating the offense and the defense, I know you have scrimmages next week, still sort of a practice, but against a different team in a game-like setting. How are you feeling as scrimmages are approaching come next week, and what are you looking to maybe tweak or add to going in?
Well, scrimmages are unique for a lot of things. You know, it's really no film, so you kind of just you get with the other staff and this is what we do, this is what we're going to run, and you really don't know till you get there what other teams have. So that's the kind of like the unknown portion of it all. But it's going to be exciting. Because, you know, when you play us, you really don't know what kind of defense you're going to see, because usually it's some type of a unique, non-base defense. But we just want to see our kids play. By that point, you know, it's interesting and vital for us because we think we know who's going to play where, but it's also we want to see it on tape. We want to see it against someone else. So that part's exciting for it, and also too just to have the energy level and the competitive nature of football to the juices flowing against someone because you know you see the same guys over and over when you're in practice. So that can get a little bit, you know, honestly get a little old. But we're looking forward to next week with Dominion and you know seeing our kids on tape and grading them out and then making some corrections and just keep growing hopefully from that point on for the rest of the year.
So I know again it's early, but it seems like the Bull Run district across the board has competitive football year in and year out. Do you think that's the same trend again this year from what you're seeing?
I think there was a time frame and, you know, where the Bull Run was top heavy. Now the Bull Run, anybody can pretty much beat anybody in the Bull Run, which tells you kind of athletes that the Bull Run district has, because we usually do fairly well, all of us in the non-district games as well. But our district is really good. As you could tell from last year, you know, we were in the regional semifinals along with, you know, Strasburg and Central. So we had 3 of the Bull Run teams in the regional semifinals. So you could just, the level of football is pretty high. And then, I mean, I know those 2 schools itself, you throw Luray and Page and Madison and those guys in there, you've got to come to play. Nothing's easy, nothing given to you. And like we tell the kids all the time, winning football games is extremely hard. It's difficult. There's a lot of time and preparation for it. And it's can be exhausting to do what you have to do to win a football game, but that's also the gratitude that comes with it. Is when you do win one, it's probably one of the greatest feelings you can have when you win football. So, yeah, we're looking for this thing to kick off for sure.
And outside of the Bull Run District, obviously, Catoctin coming to your place this year, some outside competition. Just how do you like the mix of Bull Run, obviously, but yet teams out of your district, so to speak, playing against teams you're not too familiar with, if you get what I mean?
I mean, for us, we have six away games this year and 4 home. So, we don't have that even schedule, and that was because it was, for us, for scheduling purposes, we really couldn't get around it last year on the second end of the cycle. But, yeah, I mean, we have to travel to King William, which they're a 2A powerhouse out of the Northern Neck and out of Region A. We had played really well for them here, but we have to make that trip. And then you have Catoctin. That was a great football game, and those guys are very well coached, athletic, big, strong. So we know they're going to be a handful. And then you start getting into the other games. Buffalo Gap was very young, but they're going to be a heck of a lot better this year because they pretty much return everybody. You start Warren County and the local schools that we have in our area as well. You start throwing those teams in there, and there's nothing easy, nothing given on our schedule, which makes it unique. But the 4 away game, or so the 4 home games and the 6 away games is going to be also an issue because the first couple of weeks of the season we're on the road, so we don't get to see the felt for a while. So we have to make sure that we're kicking it right from the beginning.
So something like that where your schedule doesn't even out, just sort of, how do you sort of tell your players like keep locking in even though you're gonna be away from home from quite some time?
We always do it. It's a one game season every time. Each week is its own new season because the game plans constantly change, and sometimes due to whatever reasons the personnel constantly changes and with your own team. So for us, it's gonna be a 1 week. Let's just get this one here and go to the next one and go to the next one. But with the understanding that we have some long road trips too, and during those road trips, we're going to be locked in and ready to go. But for us, it's not going to change how we do things, having 6 on the road and 4 on the home. Because last year we were 6 at home and 4 away. So this year we're going to obviously pay that back. But I don't. It won't affect our kids. I don't foresee it affecting our kids. They'll be ready to play on Fridays, and we'll lace them up and line up and do our best for sure.
Coach Casey Childs as the Clarke County Eagles getting set for the upcoming season with scrimmages right around the corner. Thanks again for having us, Coach. I'm sure this won't be the last time, and best of luck to you this season.
Yeah, appreciate coming out here, Josh. Thank you, man.